Bill Pinkney told me before he died, before he passed, he said, let me tell you something, young man. He said, you don't have to change. He said, you can be you. Because I tried to create another person when I did that. He said, no, don't do that. He said, no, I want who I seen.
Yeah.
Which means I want you. Don't change that. And that kind of like aspect came back to me. And I was like, yeah, I'm
gonna be me.
I'm gonna do this. People think that I just started doing it when I got with Doc. Y'all don't really know Joe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. After Bill passed, I went into a valley season.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't give up, I didn't quit, but you know, I was in a valley season.
Yeah.
Doc McKenzie said, stop. He looked at me, he said, can you go this weekend?
What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of the RXS podcast. Today we got a very special guest in the building, Joe Turner. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I'm blessed by the best, man. Couldn't
Yes, sir.
settle for much less.
Yes, sir. It's good to see you, man.
Man, it's good to be seen. I tell you, it's good to be seen, brother, for real.
What you been up to?
Man, I'm, like I say, I tell people, man, I'm just busy being Joe Turner, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, that's a whole lifetime right there.
Yes, sir. How long you been in this music game?
This makes about 32 years this year.
Okay.
Around 32 years.
Tell me how it started.
Well, music was within, from the beginning. My family and my grandparents and mother and all of them, they had their own family group. And I had a family choir back in the day. And I got two brothers, and my other two brothers, they wasn't really interested in going, to the choir rehearsals. But
Yeah.
I would always end up at the choir rehearsals, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't going there. I'm going to play football. I'm playing baseball. I ain't going there. But I would enjoy going to the, the rehearsals, and, and I really got into the music at an early age. And I mean, from the start, it's been there, man. I'm telling you. It's been there.
And what city and state are we talking about?
I'm from Suffolk, Virginia.
Yeah.
Suffolk, Virginia, yeah.
And how old were you when you realized, like, I'm really digging going to these rehearsals?
Well, I'm telling you, my first experience publicly singing was when I was 4 years old. Wow. 4 years old. They was having a program. It wasn't really like a sermon, setup type. It was more like a family gathering program at a church.
Yeah.
And, they had a list of people, on the program and all, and I was 4 years old.
Yeah.
And I tell you, man, they just wasn't calling me fast enough, man. They wasn't calling me fast enough, man. Next thing you know, I jumped my turn. They didn't call me, but I ran up there, man, and grabbed the mic. I said, no, it's my time now. I waited long enough. I was 4 years old. And that song I sung was, I'll Be Caught Up to Meet Him.
Wow.
In the air. Yes. 4 years old.
Did you know at that moment, like, that you were going to do music?
Yes. Let me tell you, if there was a way to make it happen musically, I did it, man. Coming up, and my mother, she would tell me, I had this little, back then they had the cassette tapes and all of that,
Yeah.
So I had this little boom box, and I would be playing music, at night when it's time to go to bed, and she hear, boy, cut that music off. Cut it. I would wear the tapes out.
What tapes were you listening to?
Man, the Mighty Clouds of George Slim and the Supreme Angels, Willie Banks and the Messengers, man, at the Highway QCs, you name it.
So quartet was in your life from the beginning?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was so intrigued. Well, the thing is, I was intrigued and shy at the same time.
Okay.
I would watch it, I'm saying, I'm going to do it one day. But when it come time to, I said, nah, because I was shy with it. But I was always fascinated, going to because I went to all the concerts, my mother and my grandmother, they were really into quartet. They love quartet music.
Yeah.
So I was the one that went. Like I said, my other brothers, they had their own agendas. They had no parts of it, this, that, and other. But if there was a concert in Suffolk at the National Guard Armory or John F. Kennedy Middle School, I was there.
Yes,
I was there
sir.
for real.
So once you got a little older, how did you get on the scene in groups?
Well, my first experience musically and getting into quartet. This is how it went down. Um, I was around maybe 19
Okay.
or 20. Like I said, I was interested, even when I was a toddler, but didn't have that courage to do it.
Yeah.
And I had never really done group harmony.
Oh,
Yeah, had
interesting.
never tried it. Like I said, my brothers, they wasn't interested. So we didn't have no family group at home and
Yeah.
practicing all that. I didn't have none of that. So, I had to go for what I know.
Yeah.
So I was in Suffolk, and I went to a barber shop to get a haircut. And the owner of the barber shop, well, he was in a quartet type group. So each time I went, they would always have music playing or whatever, this, that, and the other. So this particular time, I went to the barber shop to get a haircut, and my barber wasn't there.
Okay.
So when I was kind of in a hurry, man, and I'm like, man, I need a haircut. So it was this little short fella with a beard, and he was sitting there, he was like, man, you need a haircut? I was like, yeah. So I said, cool, I'm gonna check him out, try him out. So I went and sat down in the chair, and the music was playing in the background, and I was humming to the, the music or whatever. And he cut his clippers off. He said, Poop. He said, man, you sing? I said, nah, man. Nah, man. He said, nah, I heard you. And this fella name was Robert Holland. Late Robert
That
Holland.
just gave me chills. That's crazy.
Yeah, his name was Robert Holland, and he was the one who asked me. He said, man, we doing a tryout. We lost our tenor singer, and we're trying out, singers for the group. He said, you should come to rehearsal this Thursday. And I said, okay, I'll be there. And Thursday came, and I couldn't do it. Couldn't build up the muster to do it, for real. So anyway, probably about maybe 2 or 3 weeks went by, and I went back, my hair grew. I need another haircut. So I went to the barber shop, and I didn't want to face him. I didn't want to see him. So when I, kind of peeked in, and thank God he wasn't there. He
Yeah.
wasn't there, so I was going to say, I'm off the hook, this, that, and other. So, sitting there waiting, getting in the chair, whatever. The back door opened of the barber shop, and here comes the same little short fella. And he didn't even go to his station. He walked straight to me. He said, man, what happened?
That's
He said, what happened, man? I said, brother. He said, man, I couldn't. He said, let me tell you something. He said, you got it, man. You got what it takes. He said, we still need that singer. He said, come to rehearsal this Thursday. That next Thursday, I went.
wow.
And it's been on ever since.
What year was this?
That was 1991.
Wow, that's the year I was born, Joe.
Really?
Yo, that's crazy. Yo, that's crazy.
1991, brother.
What was the group called?
The Mighty Pearly Gates.
Yeah, man.
Out of Suffolk, Virginia.
Wow. How long did you sing with them?
I sung with them, like I said, I started rehearsing probably the late September, maybe October of 91.
Yeah.
And that first of the year I started actually singing with them, probably 90, that would be 92.
92.
92, man. We started, man, and man, I tell you, it went from there, man. It went from there. Yeah.
And Robert was the lead singer?
Robert was the lead singer.
That's crazy.
Yep. And I was so fascinated, man. I was so glad to be in the group. During that time, my parents had just remodeled the house and everything, and they made this 2-car garage, real nice laundry room. You know what I'm saying? Included in it. I mean, real nice space. And the rehearsal hall that we had, you know what I'm saying, was at the manager's garage. He had a nice garage, but it was a single garage.
Yeah.
Kind of tight, you know what I'm saying? So I said, it'd be so good to get the fellas to come here. You know what I'm saying? It's all this space. So
Yeah.
I got the courage to ask my mother, you know what I mean, if we could come and rehearse. And lo and behold, she said yes. and man, that was my dream, having the fellas come over to rehearse at
Did
the
your
house.
mom enjoy hearing y'all rehearsing?
Yes, she did. She did. She did. She did. She never
Yeah.
told me, but she probably glad that I asked her.
Yeah. Man, that's good,
Yeah.
man. What did you do? What was your next move after that group? How long were you in that group first?
I was in the Pearly Gates 92 up until 95.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you the story on that. 95, we formed another group called the Dynamic Tones
Yeah.
out of Portsmouth, Virginia.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, all the guys that were in the Pearly Gates, we were in the Pearly Gates. The guys they were a little older, and we had younger ideas.
Yeah.
And we tried to inclement our younger. They wasn't having it. They just
Yeah.
wasn't having it, man. So, man, we started having side conversations like, man, we might can do this. We're like, you think so? I'm like, yeah. So about four of us came out of the Pearly Gates, and we started rehearsing and formed the Dynamic Tones out of the Pearly Gates.
Once y'all formed the Pearly Gates, were the old heads mad?
Let me tell you the story. Our manager, his name was the late Roy Higgs.
Okay.
He came to rehearsal, and Roy came in. He was breathing like this. He said, "Oh, before we get started, I got something to say. I want to ask a question. I need to know tonight. I need to know who is the Dryadic Tones." We just froze. It was kind of funny too, because that he said Dryadic, that wasn't the name. The name was Dynamic Tone. So I need to know who are the Dryadic Tones. So we kind of like paused, what I'm saying, after a minute, what I'm saying. And the lead singer then, he's passed on now, Antoine Goodman. He really spoke up for us, because we like, we wasn't gonna say nothing. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So he really liked me. He said, "Man, Mr. Higgs, that's the group that we're forming, and we decided to do that. You know what I mean? And, no disrespect to y'all or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Blase, blase.
Yeah.
But he took it from there, and I think we gave him about maybe 6 months, maybe 3 months so they can find other people or whatever. This, that,
Okay.
and other. But yeah, we formed our own group in '95, Dynamic Tones.
Did it end up evening out? Were they all right after a while?
Yeah, they were because at first, man, they wouldn't even do concerts with us, man. They was I was like, nah.
So if y'all were on the same ticket,
They said nope. So it took a little while to smooth it out, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
after a while, we kind of like got together,
Yeah.
and this particular lady promoter, she booked us at the same church
Okay.
at the same time, and since then, it was pretty good. But yeah, that was a transition.
And how you said it was 95. How long?
1995.
How long were you in the Dynamic Tones?
Let me see. 95.
Mm-hmm.
I was with them up until I actually went on the road professionally.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah. It was I would say around 2000.
Okay.
2000. Same short little fella, Robert Holland. He had went on, you know what I'm saying, after he left the Pearly Gate, he went to the Drifters.
Yeah.
Bill Pinkney's Drifters. And he kind of like formed a group out of that, you know what I mean? And we call ourselves the Chosen Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and he really wanted all of the Dynamic Tones. He was like, I'll take all y'all. Everybody, just come on. You know what I'm saying? But maybe 3 or 4 of us went. Everybody
Okay.
didn't go. I
Okay.
think the lead singer, he stays like, nah, I got too much invested. But he didn't go. But 4 of us went. And now that was the year of 2000, and we started touring as the Chosen Brothers.
Wow.
Yeah, same Robert Holland, and we did that, and it went on for a couple of years, and the Bill Pinkney Drifters, they were having auditions, and Robert invited me to come.
Yeah.
To the Drift. This was 2002. 2002, and I went to Sumter, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Sumter, South Carolina, and man, Bill Pinkney fell in love. Man, he said, "Man, I like that fella there. I like him. Y'all get him a suit.
That's
Get him
crazy.
a suit." That was 1992.
So listen, y'all get to the place where Robert really putting you on everywhere he go.
Let me tell you something. I think that I was the son that he wished he had that could sing. Now he had kids,
Yeah.
but none of them really had that passion for singing.
Yeah.
So he kind of like took me, said, "Nah, I'm taking you. Now you gonna be that. Come on, you gonna be that one." So he
Yeah.
took me under his wings, man. I Claire he did. Claire he did. He
Wow.
did.
But it makes, to fast forward to today, it gives me more perspective for where you are now.
Oh man,
It makes it make sense.
it's wild, man.
Sheesh.
It's wild.
That's crazy.
It's wild. And I'm gonna get to
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna get to the wildness of it. Yeah.
Yes, sir. So you with Bill Pinkney, the Drifters. Y'all everywhere. Cause if I'm not mistaken, the Drifters won't just gospel, right?
No. The Drifters started as a R&B group. Now Bill Pinkney, he had the love and passion. He's always loved gospel.
Yeah.
Always loved it. And when he got the chance to really put his foot down and branch out to form a gospel group, he did it because he said, "I don't care. That R&B, it's all right. It's all right. But I'm gonna always go back to my gospel."
Yeah.
So he took it upon himself. You know what I mean? He went against whoever he had to go against, his management or whatever. He said, "No, I'm Bill Pinkney, and I want a gospel group." Wow. So that's yeah. So when I in '92, I joined the gospel Drifters.
Wow.
Because he had the R&B Drifters too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I joined the gospel Drifters.
So he had two sets of Drifters.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
The gospel and the R&B.
Yes, sir.
That's crazy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And to be honest with you, it wasn't much difference in both groups.
Interesting.
He ran them the same. He had the same mentality.
Yeah.
He ran them the same. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like it was this great separation of groups. Nah, we were one family. Wow. And if he needed one of us to go on for
on
the
other
R&B,
side, yeah.
he did it. He asked. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying. Me, it took me a while, cause I was coming from where I came from, Christian. You worry about what people gonna say, this, that, and the other, and I was like, nah. And it took me about maybe 6 months. He kept asking. He's like, you can come and and sing with the other group too. If you want to, it's on you. And I was like, okay. But it took me about 6 months to actually try it.
Because you were concerned with if people would judge you for
Right.
singing R&B.
Right. And let me tell you something. When I did it, man, it was nothing like I expected. The experience was, man, love. It wasn't crazy. It was mild. It was cool. Everything.
Yeah.
So it was nothing like what I expected, man. I expected, man, I'm going in. They gonna create another person. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be, just strung out crazy. Nah, man.
Yeah.
Nah. The atmosphere was laid back. You know what I mean? And that crowd, they really appreciate them guys. That's the first time I ever signed an autograph in my life.
Wow.
Nobody never asked me for my autograph.
Wow.
That was the first time experience that I.
So what were some of the differences in the R&B side and the gospel side from your point of view and your experience?
Right. I would say that how can I put it? The format,
Okay.
if I could say that. The format is slightly different.
Okay.
I don't know if that's got to do with the planning, how they plan, and how certain things plan. But what I'm saying, things have gotten better now with gospel and their planning. You know what I mean? But that R&B was more like, man, they give it to you on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? They give it to you. They write it down and show you itinerary. I'm like, dog, I'm reading this and I'm supposed to be here. Soundtrack 3:15 and Dinner at 3:30, 4.
And that's the first time you had ever seen that?
Man, please. They were like, well, you ready to eat? The time to eat or whatever. And I mean, everything was on the spot.
Yeah.
But never have I had it so organized to read it on itinerary on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And they went by it too.
Yeah.
They went by it. And that was, man, that was big for me.
Yeah, man.
I was like, yeah, I'm ready.
Because how old are you at this point?
I was probably 20, I would say 25.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you went on, you started singing on both sides.
Yeah.
How long were you in the Drifters?
Let me see. I'm going down my timeline now. Now, Bill Pinkney would say, and then it's a true statement, once you're Drifters, you're always a Drifters. But I started venturing out after he passed.
Okay.
Bill Pinkney passed in 2007.
How was that for y'all?
Oh, man, that was a crazy day.
Yeah.
That was a crazy day. But I tell you, when I think back and I look back on it, you know what I mean, it was just wow. We had a show in Daytona Beach, Florida. And we always took different modes of transportation. We would take the bus sometime, and he would take whatever transportation that he would, ride in. Mm-hmm. But he always used to have somebody to go with him. He had an entourage to go with him. This particular time, he didn't want anyone to go. Oh, wow. Because we took his limo and the limo driver, and that particular time, I don't know why, but I rode in front. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was in front with the driver. And that particular time that day was so different. He was quiet when he was, Bill Pinkney was never quiet. He was always, and he was real quiet that day. And when we stopped then, because the show was in Daytona Beach, we left Sumter, South Carolina, heading south. So we stopped in Savannah.
Okay.
And we stopped and he said, you okay? He was like, yeah. I was like, you want anything? He's like, nah, I'm okay. I'm all right. And he was just sitting in the back of the limo saying, that whole trip. And I said, something different. But anyway, we arrived in Daytona probably about right around check-in time. Right? Check-in time was, I think, 11 or 12 or whatever. Okay. But we arrived in and he got out and they asked him that you want a wheelchair to help you up to your room? He was like, nah, I'll make it. But he was moving a little slow. Mm-hmm. He said, I'll make it. I'm good. So, we went on and checked in or whatever. And we went out to lunch across the street, but we still could see from the cafe, we still could see the hotel. Mm-hmm. So we was out to lunch and everything because after we checked in, we just went on about our business. Yeah. So we were sitting at lunch and we seen an ambulance pull up to the front of the hotel. So we saw it, but we didn't see it. That wasn't our fault. We was trying to eat, whatever. So anyway, after we ate, we went back up to the hotel, and we was on the second floor. And when we got off the elevator at the second floor, it was like the whole atmosphere changed. And I knew something was wrong. I knew something wasn't right. One of the guys' name was with us. His name was Tony White. And I could see him all over his face. I was like, what's up? What's wrong? He said, he gone. It's like, he gone. I was like, who gone? It's the Bill. I said, no way. Just like that, in the hotel room. He died. In the hotel room. He died.
Roger is the way you say.
At the end of the day, I would need to be comfortable with myself more. And because I felt like in order for me to be my true self, or in order for me to have a big impact on the world, I would need to be with a group of people that I know, when that's not the case. I was kind of scared at first because I felt like I was going to miss them. My parents have told me many times that I have gifts and I need to use it, and like people wish they could do what I do, and I was like, I don't want to do that. Since I was really young, I really like to speak and make people feel better in life, and it's just something I enjoy. Hi, this is Nay, and that was Nay's Place. If you want to catch more, search Nay's Place on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and RXS Entertainment YouTube channel.
And y'all on the road in Daytona, there to do a show.
To do a show. The show was at 6 o'clock. It's about 4 o'clock, and that's when somebody from down on the ground, they could see, because we had balcony windows.
Yeah.
And they could see this person who was like leaning against the window, and he really wasn't moved for a long period of time. So they called the hotel, and that's how when they went in the room, they found them.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Did y'all try to do the show anyway?
We did the show. It was, man, you should hear the response. When we actually went out there and the people, we sang a few songs or whatever, and then they made the announcement. Within, man, you can imagine. You could imagine
What
that.
the response was.
Wow, that they commended us for
Yeah.
going on and still, but it was so different, so rough, man. It really was.
So once he passed away, that's when you started to venture off?
Yeah, I ain't had no choice. And I mean, I like the way he ran the group.
Yeah.
The group still went on, but I like the way he ran it. So, that took me in a whole different direction or whatever, this, that, and other. But that was around 2007. 2008, I started connecting with Reverend R.L. Bush.
Yeah, I know Bush.
And Bush had a group called the Revived Sons.
Yeah.
And that was around 2008, and I was with them for a few years. Yeah.
So how did you meet Bush?
I met Bush back when I was with the Pearly Gates, actually.
Okay.
Because we used to do tours at with Doc McKenzie, Pearly Gates, Tommy Ellison.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to do like packages.
Yeah.
And I met him on one of the packages down in Roanoke Rapids at the block. They called it the block in the bag.
Block in the bag.
Yeah. So that's where I met. That was my first time meeting
crazy.
Bush. I met Bush in 92.
Yeah,
92,
that's
93.
crazy.
Yep.
And
he was like, man, I remember you. I remember you, nigga. I was like, I remember you too. He's like, man, what you doing? I was like, man, I'm floating with, man, come on, man. Come on, sing with me.
So at the time, where are you living?
And I had left Virginia.
Okay.
When I got on the road, I moved to South Carolina when I was with Bill.
Okay.
So I was kind of like still lingering around in South Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then where did you move from there?
From there, I went to Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
What made you move to Florida?
I was still venturing out, still finding my way. I think I was with Bush a few years. Now, I actually went to Florida before Bill Pinkney passed.
Okay. Okay.
That was around 2005.
Okay.
You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So I was in South Carolina, and the first time I've ever been in Florida was when Bill took us to Florida. That's the first time I've ever been.
I got you.
And I went, and I was like, man, I like this place. I really like this place. So,
Yeah.
I got the chance to venture out 2005. I went down there. Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, and met this family, the Pittman family.
Yeah.
Man, and they kind of like, man, took me in, adopted me, whatever, this, that, and the other. Yeah, man.
That's
Yeah.
good, man.
Yeah, and that's how I got the Tampa Boys. They were newly formed when I got down there, and they was like, man, come on in, help us out, whatever. So I went in and gave my input, you know what I mean, and this, that, and the other, and I helped them get started, man.
Yeah, man.
Tyrell, Jack,
Yeah.
Joe, Nelson, all of them. Wow. Yeah.
So you were there when they were formed.
I was there when the very first year. I think they started in 2005.
That's
if I ain't
crazy.
mistaken. And yeah, I helped them. I helped them get along, help them get started. Sure did.
So from there, you're still singing with Bill because he hadn't passed
Right.
yet.
I'm still with Bill.
And then you helping out the Tampa Boys when you can.
Right.
So then he passed away.
Mm-hmm.
Did you leave Florida anytime after that?
I left Florida before he passed.
Okay.
Actually, right? Because I stayed there probably like a year and a half.
Okay.
Because I was living in South Carolina on his estate. Because I stayed with him. Because the thing is, when he really grew have a love for certain people, you know what I'm saying, that really cared for him, people who were genuine, who wasn't really trying to stick him and get him and this and another. So I was one of the ones that he picked. He said, we was going back and forth with the Virginia and whatever. He said, you don't have to do that. He said, man, trust me, I got enough room, you know what I mean, at my estate, you can stay. So you won't have to go back and forth. And that's what I did. Yeah.
Shout out to Bill for that.
I'm telling you, he did. He did.
Wow.
Yep.
Who are some groups that you sang with after he passed?
Okay. R.L. Bush was first.
Yeah.
That was 2008.
Yeah.
I ran with him for about maybe 2 years. 2010. I went and tried out for the Brooklyn All Stars.
Okay.
Brooklyn All Stars. I met Brooklyn All Stars in Myrtle Beach. We was doing a show with the Gospel Drifters, and the Brooklyn All Stars were on the same car, and I met Sonny McClary.
Yeah.
And me and him clicked or whatever, this, that, and the other. And during that transition, I said, well, I'm gonna try them out. And I, went to the Brooklyn All Stars. Man, I was so intimidated by Reverend Spann.
Yeah, because he's so like.
Yeah, because he was in that deep voice. We're like, bro, hey, man. Hey, this is the Brooklyn All Stars here. Now we sing different.
Yeah.
So I had to learn that different chord, that barbershop chord. You know what I mean? It was different. You know what I'm saying? Everybody, if you try, I mean, it's easy. You know what I mean, from the outside, but from the inside, man, you can try those songs if you want to. You jump on No Cross, No Crown.
Yeah.
And all them songs like that.
Yeah.
Like, man, I didn't know, man, but I learned it, and I'm so glad I did, because that helped me to be more versatile of a singer.
Yeah, because their style of singing was not back when they started.
Mm-hmm.
That barbershop sound was the sound of everybody.
Right.
But they kept going even when music changed.
Right.
But they still kept that style.
Right.
So you've sung with all these other groups. It's like a basic 3-part harmony. Then
Right.
you get with them and it's like, there's
Right.
more than 3 parts.
Right.
The note over here instead of over there.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, man, the first time I jumped on No Cross, No Crown,
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. But yeah, I learned so much from Reverend Thomas Spann, man. That was my guy, man. It was so sad to hear him when he passed at the end of last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. But that was my buddy, Reverend Thomas Spann. Yeah.
So
I was with them a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And from them, my timeline goes on. I went and tried out for Big Mike, Supreme Angels.
Yeah.
Yep. That was 2010.
That's crazy,
Yeah,
man.
that's right before Sugar passed.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Sugar was actually supposed to come to a couple of rehearsals or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I was saying, I'm gonna meet Sugar. But, you know what I'm saying, and whenever, you know what I'm saying, the time came, for whatever reason, he didn't come, he didn't make it or whatever. But he passed that same year when I got started with Big Mike and Greg Kelly and all them guys, man. Yeah. Yeah, man.
So up until this point, have you worked any other job, or you've only been singing?
Now they say you draw your Social Security through jobs. Now my Social Security will come from before I started singing.
Okay.
Because back from the time I got out of high school, I worked a couple of years
Okay.
up before I started. But when I got started in 2000, when I was with the Dynamic Tones, I was still in working.
Okay.
But from 2002 up until the present time, I went full time with it.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I remember my last 9 to 5 was at Planters Peanuts in Suffolk. And my supervisor, she was a lady. She was like, she liked music. She went to church or whatever. So she was kind of like into music, whatever. Bloom, bloom, bloom. So I used all of my days, man, and all my time up, because she knew that I went out and sing or whatever. This, that, and other. So she came to me one day. She said, "Now you at the end of your road with time. You said you can't miss no more. You know what I mean? She said you got to choose. You got to choose one or two. You know what I mean?" And the next day, I was on my way to Chicago. Yeah, I was on my way to Chicago.
So did that lady ever see you? Did she ever come to any concerts that you sang at?
I'm sure she probably seen me more so on TV.
Oh wow.
Through YouTube and all that, this, that, and the other. Because
Yeah.
I never really went back. I went back a couple of times, but I don't think I went to her particular area.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I'm sure
Absolutely.
she. I know him.
Up until this point, did it ever get rough for you?
It wasn't easy, but my mind was determined. You know what I mean? I knew I had this feeling that of what I wanted
Yeah.
to do, and it's hard to shake it. You know what I mean? Once it's on you and you're determined, it's hard to quit, hard to just give up. You know what I mean? When you want to, you know what I mean? You can quit tonight, and the motivation will drive you back in it tomorrow.
Yeah. So you never lost that drive.
Never lost it. Never lost it. Never lost it.
So let's go back. You said the last group you told me was the Brooklyn All Stars.
Brooklyn All Stars,
What came next?
Supreme Angels.
Yeah, and then what came after that?
Supreme Angels, I was with them. I stayed with them a little while.
Okay.
Maybe like 4 years.
Okay.
Up until 2014.
And who was in the group with you at the time?
Big Mike, Willie Johnson, had Will was playing keyboard. We was trying to get Michael Borkins to come back then, but he, whatever. I was like, man, get Michael Borkins. You know what I mean? I was trying to get, also Maurice Robinson, he wasn't in the group then. I was like, get Maurice. I was Big Mike. Man, them guys, they doing something else. I was like, talk.
Okay, so, this is a good conversation. So you petitioned to get the OGs all together with Mike.
Yes.
He'll
tell you.
That's something I wanted to see so bad.
He will tell you to this day. And he will also tell you, he said, man, I was a little stubborn, but I listened to you. Because before Maurice Robinson passed, Big Mike had him back. Had him back in the group.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, he'll tell you. He said, man, you was on to something.
So
Yeah.
do you think there was some turmoil between them once Slim died?
I'm sure there was. There obviously, when you have your front man, you know what I mean, you have a whole lot of opinions, but what front man says goes.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So I'm sure they was opinionated back then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Poor soul. But when Slim said, okay, we leaving at 5 o'clock, boom, 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 that's when they left. Or we doing this, bloom, bloom, that's when they did. But when that lead singer passes,
then
it kind of like sprinkles out,
Yeah.
and it's, I mean.
and I could imagine it's hard to decide who to let take that reign.
Right.
So everybody want to be the chief once the
That's
chief
it.
is gone.
And that's what happens. Yeah, that's what happens.
That sucks. I wanted to see all of them with Mike so
I'm
bad,
telling you,
man.
yes.
I did. I'm like, if y'all just take everybody except Slim
I said,
and
brother,
put Michael Boykin in front,
I'm
y'all
telling
still
you.
going. That's
I'm
another
telling
20,
you.
30
Get
years.
them, Quincy, all
Yes.
up, get them.
Man, I wish they would have did that. So you sung with them for a while.
Yeah, I was with them for 4 years.
Okay.
And then after them, I went back to the Brooklyn All Stars for a short span.
Okay.
Maybe like a year and a half.
Okay.
So that takes me back up to like 2015.
Okay.
2015, the same fella who introduced me to singing, God bless his soul, he passed away
Yeah.
in 2015, the end of 2015.
Yeah.
And we went to his services and all, and man, that was my buddy.
Yeah.
That was my buddy.
Yeah.
Man, I tell you.
Yeah.
And things started happening kind of weird, after he passed. The first thing that was weird was that I went to the services because he had a musical and he had a funeral. It was in different cities. I think the musical was in Rocky Mount.
And the funeral was in Wilson.
Okay, the funeral was in Wilson. Okay,
Yep.
right. Okay.
At Ellen Forbes, I think.
Okay, yeah. So, I went to the, because his family knew me. So
Yeah.
they contacted me to ask me if I wanted to come and do something. I said, okay, I'll come. I'll bring a friend. I'll bring some of the gospel drifters with me, and we'll do something.
Yeah.
For the on the memorial service. So we went and we did it. This, that, and another. We sang. I don't know, forget what we sang, whatever. But when we got there, the highlights they wasn't there. I guess they was at the hotel, wherever they was. They wasn't there. So after I sang, I went. I was standing in the back. So when they came on the stage to sing, it was a tall lady. Her name was Bullock, Evangeline Bullock. She came and grabbed me by the hand. They were there on stage singing, and she walked me. I said, so she walked me all the way down the aisle and walked me up to the stage. Now nobody asked her. She said, "Go up there, go sing." And they were singing, and Doc was looking like, okay. He just handed me the mic.
What?
Handed me the mic. I did my little part. It was like, okay. And I went back and sit down.
Yeah.
So the next day, I thought that was, I was like, Next day, went to the funeral. So when I got there a little bit later than I, expected to. And everybody, was in place, and I was sitting, and I walked in the back. And, after I, went around and viewed, I come to the back to find me a seat back there. And, the group, they was up front to a certain sect, to the left or whatever.
Yep.
And the usher, I was fitting to sit down. And this is true. I ain't got no reason to fabricate this. She said, no, don't sit there. Sit up there. I said, sit up there. And she's like, no, okay. Sit up there. I said, no, I'm not a part of them. She did the same thing Bullock did. Took me, grabbed me. She was the usher. She said, took me up front and sat me down on the same, because they was on 2 rows with the highlights.
Yeah.
Sat me right there. And I didn't know this lady from Adam or Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was weird.
Yeah.
So anyway, sat me there. I'm like, okay. So anyway, next day, things go on, days go by, whatever. I got a phone call from somebody I hadn't talked to, and I don't know, hadn't talked to in a long time.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, we wasn't even on speaking terms, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. And they told me, they said, I want you to go to South Carolina to try out for the highlights. And I said, what? I said, yeah, I want you to go and try out for the highlights. And that time, I was, to be honest, from the time that Bill Pinkney passed,
Yeah.
I was kind of scratching, trying to find my way.
Okay.
Trying to grasp, trying to get there, trying to really make it, but I didn't quite get to that level that I wanted to, and I was trying to get there. So the time that the person told me, so I was still in transition, trying to do what I needed to do, and I said, okay. I said, I'll do it. He said, if you ain't got the means to do it, because everybody got valley seasons.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. After Bill passed, I went into a valley season.
Yeah.
I didn't give up. I didn't quit, but I was in a valley season.
Yeah.
So the person was like, and I didn't even own a car then.
Wow.
No, I didn't own a car. And the person said, if you need means to get there, I'll make sure you get there. Give you gas and money or whatever. This and I was like weird, because I had fell out with this person.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are they telling me go down? So anyway, I set up a interview with Daryl. Called Daryl, contacted him on Facebook, and I said, I heard you guys were trying out, people to sing for the group. I said, I'd like to try out. And he was like, okay, all right. So he set it up for a Thursday.
Yeah.
So I borrowed a car.
Yeah. Wow.
And went down there, went to Olanta,
Yeah.
South Carolina. And on that particular day, it was another young man that was trying to. So it was two of us. So when I got there, um, I was inside or whatever, and then that was before Doc came. So um, he was like, "Well, we're gonna do one of y'all at a time. So y'all, you go out and let him go first." So I went out in the car or whatever and waited maybe 10 minutes.
Okay.
He came out, gave me a dap or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, what's up? What's up? So anyway, I went in, and when I got in there, they said, "What song do you want to try out? What song do you know?" And I said, "Sing any of them. Doesn't matter. Sing any of them." I knew they didn't know. I knew who I was replacing.
Sheesh.
I was replacing the one who started me. I knew that. They didn't know that. And I knew anything that he could ever do. He taught me to do it and taught me well. So I knew that I could do it. I said, sing whatever you want to sing. It don't matter.
Yeah.
Because I knew I could replace who I was replacing.
Yeah.
So anyway, they went on, man. I'm telling you. They called the song "Man in the Middle." Now I'm trying out for Doc McKenzie. Now Doc one of the hardest jokers, man. People got a certain phobia about singing around Doc.
Yeah.
Did one round, a half a round of "Man in the Middle." Doc McKenzie said, "Stop." So Darryl was like, put his hand on the strap on the guitar. Boom, stop. So they didn't know what Doc was gonna say. He looked at Darryl. He said, "Darryl, we don't need to try it no more." Wow. He said, "We don't need to go no further." This was on a Thursday. He looked at me. He said, "Can you go this weekend?"
Yo, that's crazy.
A half a round of "Man in the Middle" is all it took. A half a round.
That's crazy. Yo.
This was 2016, January.
That's a crazy story, man. And you've been there ever since?
Been there ever since. Now, they didn't know that I knew Robert before until later on. I didn't even tell them. They knew none of this. All they knew that, man, who is this joker?
Yeah.
That's done come in this camp and just done did this quick.
Yeah.
Something is up. They just didn't know what.
Yeah.
They just didn't know what. But they knew it was something.
Yeah.
They knew it was something. A half a round, a man in the middle, buddy. That's all it took. That's all it took. That was it. That was it. But they knew. They knew. And I knew.
Yeah.
I knew. I said, I'm replacing the joker that taught me.
Yeah. Come back up, son.
Yeah. I'm replacing the man that taught me.
Yeah.
So I knew. I knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once I made up my mind or whatever, then because I really didn't focus on that until the person brought it to me.
Yeah.
But once I made up my mind.
So that's not even something you thought about doing?
No.
So you're just going to the funeral because that's your boy?
That's my boy. I went to the funeral, this, that, and the other, and paid my respects, this, that, and the other. And then after that, I was like, okay, well, I'm still finding my way. The person called me on the phone and told me, go to Atlanta and do that. They did.
So now you in the highlights.
In the highlights.
You try out on a Thursday, you go on that weekend. Do you remember the first show?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Let's go.
Now, you go with Memphis now. You got to know something.
Yes.
You got to know Jesus, but you got to know something else too. So, yeah, Memphis, Tennessee. Wow. Yeah.
So how long were you in the group before you started leading songs?
Let me see. Now, my first song I led was My Time, My Turn. I would say within the same year, because I got there in January, within the same year. So he knew I had a little extra. Doc, You know, he knew I had a little extra, so
Yeah.
so
Yes, that's hilarious, man. So when did you start? How long was it before you start singing? What's the song you sang now?
Ups and Downs.
Yes.
The Ups and Downs came right before they finished the project, the last Over Yonder.
Mm-hmm.
Right before that, because Ups and Downs was the last song.
Wow.
That completed the project.
Wow.
Doc was like, he needed one more song. He said, "You got a song?" He said, "I need one more song." I said, I got it.
So tell us the story of that song.
Ups and Downs was a tune that was written by Reginald Funderburg. We called him Chubb.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but we kind of collaborated because I put my own little stuff in it too.
Yeah.
And we actually recorded it with the Drifters back in 2004.
Uh-huh.
We did with that same song with the Drifters back then.
Yeah.
So yeah, that it came from that. That's where it was born. You know, up until where it's at now. But yeah, that's how that song got in there. He needed one more song for that Over Yonder CD,
Mm-hmm.
and the song ended up being Ups and Downs.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Roger is the way you say
If you can't hold your mule, don't give it to somebody that don't deserve it. Nah,
Please don't.
you know he out here sleeping with everybody,
Don't do it.
and you gonna do it because it feel good. Why? Cause he got a big thing or something. That ain't. You know how many men folk around here? Never mind. I'm just. I'm just saying, there's plenty of fishies in the sea.
If you enjoyed this clip of Be For Real, you can watch the full video. Just head over to RXS Entertainment YouTube channel. You can also listen on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Just type in BEFUHREAL.
Let's talk about the dance moves. Because you have become very popular.
Well, I wouldn't say on accident,
Uh-huh.
but I would say meant to be,
Okay.
because that's different from Doc.
Yeah.
So I would say meant to be, because it kind of like flowed into what and incorporate and flowed into what they had.
Yeah.
And it was strange at first, but it kind of like, when God steps in something, you know what I'm saying? He got the last say, so people will go all different directions.
Yeah.
You know, and they said, "Man, Doc, man, you got to get rid of him." You know, he you don't allow all that stuff on your stage, this, that, and other.
So
blah, blah,
people
blah.
were telling him to fire you because
they
you were doing the moves.
They was telling him to fire me, get rid of him.
Dang. And that's some of the stuff you do is from like the Drifter days.
Yeah, it's really me.
Yeah.
In other words, Bill Pinkney told me before he died, before he passed, and this was when I was contemplating on not singing with the R&B group and the gospel group. He said, "Let me tell you something, young man." He said, "You don't have to change." He said, "You can be you in any stage that you go on." He told me that.
Yeah.
Man, he told me that. And it was like, because I tried to create another person when I did that. He said, "No, don't do that." He said, "No, I want who I seen."
Yeah.
Which means I want you. Don't change that. You can use that. I mean, that can fit country.
Yeah.
That can fit gospel, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
He said, but don't change that about you. And that kind of like aspect came back to me. And I was like, yeah, I'm
gonna be me.
I'm gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
already got God on my side. I ain't worried about that part. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we gonna figure this thing out. And lo and behold, man, it became something.
Yeah, man. Like, you known for that stuff. Like, Joe, I be seeing videos of you jumping everywhere. Like, people be clipping it out. I be seeing clips everywhere, man. Do you ever be scared you gonna fall or something? Didn't you fall one time?
No,
though?
I've never fell.
Okay.
In 30 some years.
Okay, that's good.
And the thing is, some people think, well, I just started doing that. People think that I just started doing it when I got with Doc. Y'all don't really know Joe.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I can go way back to when I was in the pearly gates and the dynamic tone.
Yeah.
And it was there. It was there then.
Yeah.
It was there then. They were always like, man, I don't know what Joe gonna do, man. Joe ain't no telling what he gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So it was there then. It's no act. It's natural, man.
Yeah.
It's natural.
Yeah, it's a part of your expression.
It is. It's natural too. They were like, man, how do you incorporate? It's natural. You know what I'm saying? It's natural, Doc. You know what I mean? I don't have to fabricate it. That's why, I can duplicate it. I can, and I can handle it because it's me.
Yes.
It's natural, buddy.
So talk to me a little bit now. Since you've been with Doc, talk to me a little bit about the road life in your older age. Like, how do you make sure you're still good health-wise? How do you make sure you manage your money, family, all of that? What is it like?
Right. Life is like trial and error.
Yeah.
To me. And things that I used to do that I know didn't make no sense. I was smart enough because some people do stuff they know don't make no sense and they just can't stop. There's just habitual habit.
Yeah.
But I learned that the things that didn't work for me and didn't really make sense for me, gradually as time went on, I learned how to manage and how to budget and how to do different things differently, that fit, fit me. Because like I said, I'm out here for the long run.
Yes,
so
sir.
I have to look out for stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I have to build my world around what I do and what it takes to do what I do. I have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So it's really a learning experience. You know what I'm saying? And I've gotten pretty good with it. So I'm hanging in there, man. I'm doing what it takes to stay out there. And Daryl kid me sometime. He said, "Man, you one of the last of the troopers."
Yeah.
That generation of the troopers. He said, man, you a trooper, buddy.
Absolutely.
He said you a trooper, buddy.
What would be some advice you would give to some youngsters that aspire to do this?
Well, the main advice that I would give to young people that's coming up in this, I'm gonna be selfish. I'm gonna say do what I did, and that's listen more than I talk. I listened and I learned about what I was interested in.
Yes, sir.
And that's an important value.
Yes, sir.
You have to be a student first.
Yes, sir.
Before you can teach anybody anything.
Yeah, man.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
You have to do that. You have to obtain. You know what I'm saying. You have to gravitate. You know what I mean. You have to to pretty much, man. Absorb, be
soak
a
it all in, be a sponge. Yeah.
And I did that. I did that for years. I was quiet for years. I hushed my mouth for years.
Yeah.
But it's time for me to talk now.
Absolutely, man.
It's time for me to talk now.
Speaking of that, at this season in your life, have you done any solo music?
I did. Matter of fact, I released a solo single.
Mm-hmm.
The end of last year. It's entitled "I'm Grateful."
Okay.
And Mary Glover from out of Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
It's kind of duet. She came in on the end and did the little part at the end. So, and that was back, like I said, the end of last year. And it's doing good. It's called "I'm Grateful" in its own digital outlets. I put it out right. You know what I mean? I didn't just record it and leave it on the shelf and it's on YouTube and it's on Apple Music, man, and it's I did it the right way.
Yeah, what made you decide to do that now? Why not earlier?
I should have done it earlier. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. But until it gets up here,
yes, sir.
Until it gets up there, it won't happen. You know,
Yeah.
and it wasn't up there. You know, it wasn't up there. And but once it got there, and you know, with the influence, you know what I mean, so of some good friends of mine, and once it got there, I said, man, I should have been here.
Yeah.
I should have been here, man.
Yeah. So how does it feel now to have accomplished all that you've accomplished?
Let me tell you something. To be able to do something and you put your blood, sweat, and tears in it, and to be able to look back down the line and realize that you're still able to do it, that means something you done was right.
Yes, sir.
Where something, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't in vain what you did. Man, and that's a great feeling.
Yeah, man.
That's a great feeling, man, knowing that what you put your all in all in has turned in your favor.
Yeah, man.
That's a good feeling, man. Yeah. That's a good feeling. And I know I put everything that I have into it.
Yeah.
And I've gone through what it takes. Yeah. I've gone through the ridicule. I've gone through everything. Through it all. And I beat the odds, man.
Yeah, man.
I ain't lying. I beat the odds.
Yeah.
I beat the odds.
Yes, sir.
And I'm happy, man. I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm good with me. I'm good with me, man. And that's a good thing.
Yes, sir.
When you can look at yourself, man, and you're not ashamed, that means something.
Yes, sir.
That means something, man. When you're a shining star to somebody.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? That means something. Mm-hmm. When somebody come to you, man, and say, man, I really enjoy you.
Yeah.
That mean my stuff wasn't in vain, man. Yeah. Wasn't in vain. I feel good about that.
Yeah, man. So you have people who come up to you and talk to you?
Oh man, you'd be surprised. It's almost like a character, almost like a cartoon character that you see on TV or whatever. And you know, that character becomes somebody, this, that. People come up to me, man, they're like,
yeah.
all this kind of people, and they tell me, say, my daughter, 5 years old, she love you. She be in front of the TV,
wow,
doing this and doing that. He said, and I'm like,
yeah,
wow,
right, because like some people may look at it as a gimmick, and other people can see how it inspires a generation who probably wouldn't be paying attention to it if there wasn't that type of movement going on.
That's true.
They probably wouldn't care about it.
That's true. That is so true.
So it gives you an opportunity to shed light on what you guys do to a younger generation.
Right.
And I think that's a powerful thing.
And when I tell you, and I don't know how many people gonna see this podcast right here.
Yes, sir.
But everyone that it reaches, yes, within the bottom of me, is genuine. Yeah. It's genuine, man. It's so natural. It's natural.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Doc, sometimes he look at me like, man, how you do? What are you doing?
Yeah, especially
like,
at your age.
Yeah, and it's like, but it's natural.
Yeah.
It's natural and it's real. If anybody want to know, if they have a doubt in their mind,
yeah,
here Joe Turner is right here, 2024. I'm telling you right now.
Yes, sir.
It's real.
Yes, sir.
It's not an act. It's not a gimmick, and it's not a game.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, people say, well, you showing off. I am. I'm showing how good God been to me.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to show you how good he been to me.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm showing off.
That's good stuff, man. Before we go, is there anything you want to say or anything you want people to know?
Well, one thing about it, I say everywhere I go, I don't meet strangers. And I have love in my heart. I love everybody.
Yeah.
I love people for who they are. You know what I mean? If I can't help you, I won't hinder you. You know what I mean? I'll reach down and I'll help you and I'll pick you up, this, that, and the other. And I've always been willing to take pieces out of me that will improve you. And I've always done that. I've always done that. Put myself on the back burner sometimes. On the back burner sometimes. But, it wasn't about me.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you something. What I have, man, I didn't pay for it.
Yeah,
I
man.
ain't pay a dime. Not 1/4 did I pay.
Yeah.
So how am I going to be so possessive of it?
Yeah.
Something that I didn't pay. The gift that I have, God gave me this gift.
Yeah.
God gave me this gift. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to leave this world knowing what I know without leaving some of it with somebody.
Yes, sir.
Because it was given to me.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to give it back.
Yes, sir. That's good, man.
Ooh.
Yes, sir.
That's the truth.
Yes, sir.
That's the truth, buddy.
Yes, sir. I can just feel the energy from you, like, that is real. Like, your passion and love for God and singing is real.
It's real.
It's real.
It's real. It's real. And the thing is, when you say you can feel this, that, and the other.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you really can feel. You really can feel when somebody's what their discernment, what they're trying to do. You really can.
Yeah.
You really can.
Yeah.
You can feel it. So
Yes,
you can tell if it's real. Just get close enough. You can tell if it's real.
Yeah,
Get
that's
close
true.
enough to it.
That's true.
That's it. That's
yes,
it.
sir, man. Thank you for being here, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
Like, hearing your story is incredible because you've been a part of quartet history on so many levels for so long.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's dope to hear your story, man. Thank you for coming.
I'm glad,
through.
man. Thank you. Thank you
Yes.
for having me.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right.
Y'all, this has been another episode of the RXS podcast with Joe Turner. We out. Peace.
All right.